I don't think he would want to. I do
Now,
kind of feel sorry for him to some degree, though, simply because, Diablo 3 won't be mod friendly. But go ahead, Dan.
I was thinking about tedium earlier this day. Now, I don't, or earlier this week, and I don't know if it's necessarily entirely relevant to Diablo 3, but in the context of WoW, they've actually, I would say, made the game worse by stripping out all tedium.
You're talking about for Cataclysm?
They've that I think in games, particularly in games that are to have a lot of replay value, there needs to be a balance of tedium. You can't be completely free of it, but you also shouldn't have so much that everything is just like endlessly tedious. Like, I think where Torchlight ends up faltering is that it's almost that after a while it starts to come off as all tedium. You've unlocked your key skills so quickly into the game that nothing changes beyond that.
Exactly.
And you spend so much time managing your inventory and micromanaging gear and like, oh, well, is this one vaguely better than this one, and which stats do I actually want? You're spending so much time doing math and shuffling things around and upgrading gems that there's too much tedium. It's all tedium after a while. But if you take that out in its entirety, there's no longer emotional pacing. It's just it's a cake made entirely of icing.
Blech. That's a disgusting analogy.
I would certainly agree with that. Anything that you design has to have elements of both, and it's just the same sort of thing that we've talked about in the past with someone's power level. Is that if you have a character and they're completely decked out, all the best skills, all the best gear, it would instantly become boring.
Yep. It's like using cheat codes. I mean, as soon as you put cheat codes on, 5 minutes later, you're bored.
Right. But if you're always struggling, if you never have anything to shoot for, if there are no great peaks to climb to, then it is just tedium. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to hope for. You're just stuck at the bottom. So you do have to have both. And the really brilliant designers realize how to balance between the two.
Mm-hmm.
A moment of trial followed by a crowning moment of badass.
Exactly.
It will be interesting to see what they do with Torchlight 2, because I did fairly enjoy, a good portion of the game until it just got too damn repetitive. Oh, you got to get going, Ken?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We'll see you guys.
See you, Ken.
Take it easy, pal.
So what was I saying about Torchlight? I do enjoy it to a certain extent until the point where it just got boring and tedious. So it will be cool to see what they do with Torchlight 2, because these are the guys behind Diablo 2, and a game I have loved for a very long time. And nostalgic music, you hear that in there. Matt Uleman, who I hope I pronounced his name right, who produced the music for Diablo 1 and Diablo 2, he actually moved over to their team and is doing the music for them, and it's very similar. So I kind of like the direction they're going with Diablo 3, and I'm happy in a way that he's not back and working on a different project, because you still get to enjoy his stuff if you like it and enjoy the Torchlight games. But they are going in such a different direction with Diablo 3 and trying to improve it and change things for the better, that I think if they had Matt Uleman on the soundtrack, it would just kind of, I don't know. I don't know the exact word I'm looking for here, but I don't know. I like where they're going with the music.
Looking for either.
It wouldn't quite feel right to me.
Right.
Because they've changed it so much that it would kind of be dragging me back to the Diablo 2 mindset and get me in the mindset of, doing the bad habits that I did in Diablo 2, boss runs and stuff like that. And I think those are going to be some of the hardest habits to break when I move into Diablo 3, is farming and wanting to do the same thing over and over again, because that's just what I'm used to. And so it'll be interesting to see the different game draws that will bring me to explore different parts of the game rather than just do boss runs over and over again.
Now, I've said it many, many times before. I really like his work. His work in Diablo 1 was fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's incredible.
Diablo 2, not so much.
There's bits and pieces of Diablo 2 that I really like going back and listening to the Act 2 music, which we're planning on doing a show in the future all about the music around Diablo and how it affects gameplay and the mood and all that. But Diablo 2 Act 2 music for me is like, I listened to that while I was at work, and it just brought me right back there to the desert killing monsters. And then other stuff didn't work out so well, like Act 1. That stuff's just kind of water under the bridge to me, in one ear, out the other. And Act 5 really stood out to me, too, as some good stuff.
Right. The main thing that really strikes me is that when you're playing through Diablo 1, pretty much throughout the entire game, you notice the music. It adds a real feel to it. Whereas in Diablo 2, a lot of it just, it didn't even register to me at times that music was playing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh wait, there is music playing. Huh. Well, that's kind of disappointing. It is what it is. Like I say, I think he did fantastic work, but that one just didn't really strike it for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I am actually very happy that Diablo 3 has a lot of variation into it. It's not just ambient, it's not just epic music. It has this nice flow of different types within it.
Mm-hmm. There's character to it too. Some of the stuff you listen to, it'll set you on edge, man. I know it set me on edge. I was starting to listen to it at work, and my legs started shaking, and I was just getting really uncomfortable.
Nice.
So yeah, we'll have a show on that. I don't know when, but sometime. Anything else we got for this show, or do we want to close it up? Close up shop.
The only thing I could think of would be archiving the drama for historical purposes about the leak/reveal.
That's right.
Nice.
So what happened was it Thursday, I believe? Yeah?
Yep, because I got back from my job interview.
Yep, Thursday, the leaked video of the followers came out and incited a firestorm of criticism and flame wars and what have you.
Speculation
Galore.
Speculation.
Apparently, he found it on some Korean Diablo forums. It was floating around there, and he posted it on YouTube and brought it to everyone's attention, and it just spread like wildfire. And Bashiok had some fires to put out, and he's like, whoa, everybody chill out. Wait till the official release when we release more details, and, a lot of you are going to be eating crow on the words you have to say, because it's all just speculation at this point. And then Friday happened, and I was in LA, so you guys will probably have a better take on it than I do. So my finger was off the pulse at that point.
I actually stayed up way too late Thursday night, and so I woke up really late Friday and was all groggy and they'd already done the reveal, and so I was like drifting around. And now the way that they did it was they did like simultaneous interviews with like 6 different publications and websites around the world, and so the information was just scattered everywhere. So it kind of took the wind out of my sails that Thursday I was deep in the speculation, and then Friday morning I wake up and it's like everybody else knows everything and I'm just like, what's going on?
Nice. Yeah, when it all hit, I saw the speculations floating around and I read through them a little bit and I'm like, this is pretty baseless. I'm not even going to comment on any of this because they don't even know how they're going to interact in Nightmare. They don't even know if it's multiplayer. They don't know anything about it. They just know they saw this video. So, I'm going, okay, I'm just gonna wait. I'm not gonna jump into any of this. And sure enough, there are all those interviews that popped up. And I was like, okay. And I kept digging through. I wanted to know more about the whole single player only aspect. And it was the Jay Wilson interview, one of his, that actually explained it and clarified it. They just swap out depending on whether or not there's anyone actually in the game. So technically, you could be playing a multiplayer game, I guess, with them going and whatnot. And somebody joins, they go back to town.
Yep.
I do find it funny, the endless, like the number of people trying to split that hair in half about like, well, what counts as single player? It's like, well, are you alone? Yes, no. Yes, you're alone. Okay, you're in a single player game. Well, what happens if somebody joins? Are you alone? No. Then you're not single player anymore.
I hate the argument of, what if I want to play alone? Then play alone.
Then
send them back to town. But am I at a huge disadvantage then if I send them back to town? No, it's normal. You can still kill stuff just as easily. It's just cool to have somebody there fighting alongside you.
Well, strictly speaking, you're at a disadvantage because you don't have a... But are you going to be like And that I think that's another thing that people come up with is they talk about necessary. And it's really important that people understand what actually constitutes necessary. If it's a competitive environment like arenas or PvP, basically 1v1, 3v3, whatever format is, if it's a competitive environment, then yes, every little edge counts.
Mm-hmm.
But in cooperative environments, in collaborative environments, and in single player environments, necessary is only defined the moment that it constitutes a significant degree of success or failure. So if you are not going to be able to beat the final boss without a wave motion gun that you found in level 4 behind the secret wall, then yes, that gun is necessary to beat the game. If it's just going to be harder, or if it's going to be almost impossible, then you could say that it's going, if it's going to be almost impossible, you could say that it's necessary. But if it's just going to take an extra 2 minutes of shooting with the pistol,
or more strategy, even
not necessary. Yeah, then it is not necessary. And so for normal mode, for the vast majority of people who are arguing about it on the forums, normal mode is going to almost feel insultingly easy.
Yep.
You are going to blow through it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not even going to really consider it to be a challenge. So follower, no follower, you probably won't notice the difference. Why? Because you're going to know what the stats on your armor means. You're going to know that, hey, this piece is better than this one. You're going to be keeping your runes up to date. You're going to be keeping your gems up to date. You're going to be upgrading your artisans, and you will blow through normal.
Yep. Case in point. Points at match. So yeah, is that all we got?
I think that's about it.
I think so too. All the screenshots, skill tiers, all that stuff, we'll have the pictures up on the blog, and you'll be able to see them throughout the video feed, as you probably have already watching this. But if you want more in-depth looks, I would turn to the fan sites, because if you like reading all the bits and bobs about it, Diablo Fans has a bunch of stuff on there, and Diablo.incgamers has a ton of stuff on there. And if you want to go for the actual interviews, the sites are Game Planet, AUS Gamers, Now Gamer, FZ, GameStar, IGN, Diablo 3 ESP, and Game Informer. They all got content on there up as well. So if you want to, check that out. But if you're content like I am with the show, then yeah, there you go. I believe next week we'll be doing a live show, but I'll post more details once we get a set date. It will be episode 25 live, another concept art show probably. That's what I want to do again, and I'm pretty sure everyone else on the show wants to do it again, right?
Yeah.
Yay! So yeah, we'll be doing another live concept art show. Those are always a lot of fun. So look forward to that. And say goodbye, gentlemen.
Goodbye.
Farewell.
And we'll see you all next time on The World's Stone Keep.